Have you talked to him?
Yep. You've
How's
seen
he
him.
doing?
He's doing great. He's focused. Watch the tree. He's focused. He's ready for his hearing. We think the law and the facts are on our side, and we're going to go try to get him out.
Mr. Combs got on a plane, left his home in Florida, flew to New York.
I think that we made the points that we've been wanting to make. I think it came out. Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. He came to New York to establish his innocence. He's not afraid.
After he was seen leaving the courtroom during a hearing, rumor has it that Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's lawyer, might be considering throwing in the towel, and it's not the first time he's quit on a case. This recent development can completely change Diddy's team's strategy and affect the case as a whole. Mark hasn't been doing the best job because he still has not secured bail for Diddy. Yet, he has the time to appear in several interviews. Make it make sense.
We made a bail appeal to Judge Carter. It did not go our way. The fight continues.
Later on, we'll get into new details that have been revealed about Diddy's trafficking court documents. But for now, let's dive into this twisty tale with Diddy and his high-powered lawyer. Now, Mark Agnifilo is no stranger to high-stakes cases. He previously defended Nex-LVM cult leader Keith Raniere, a notorious case with charges weirdly similar to Diddy's current ones, including racketeering activity, trafficking, and exploitation. Unfortunately, the trial didn't end well for his client, who received a hefty 120-year prison sentence after Mark and other lawyers abandoned him. Does this mean that Mark isn't the best lawyer? Not at all. Mark has been a lawyer for 30 years. He received a graduate law degree from Brooklyn Law School in 1990, where he won the American Jurisprudence Award for outstanding performance in trial advocacy. Mark has also won acquittals in many of the most complex and difficult trials in America. He secured 3 complete acquittals in cases ranging from assault to international tax fraud to political corruption. But this case may be his breaking point. Spending the rest of his life in prison is the kind of nightmare Diddy would do anything to avoid. But with mounting allegations and piles of digital evidence, Mark might be reconsidering his position. He's tried his hardest to undermine the prosecutor's case, but nothing is working out for him. And all his strategies have failed, so he may be removing himself from the whole situation. For Mark's first strategy to save Diddy's image, he mentioned that the Cassie video happened a long time ago.
Let me just point out one very important thing. The prosecutors are seizing on something that happened 8 years ago. You know, this video that we've all seen, and it's a bad video for Mr. Combs, and he said so himself when he gave his apology.
I mean, Mark, my friend, that's not exactly the heartfelt response people were expecting. This may be his own unique style of defending Diddy, but while some call it strategic, others are calling it questionable. Mark literally said at the September hearing that while not everybody has experience with being intimate the way that Diddy does, it's not trafficking if everybody wants to be there. Public reaction has been less than forgiving towards his insensitive statements. People are saying that emphasizing the age of the footage and the type of relationship Diddy has, rather than addressing the fact that Diddy assaulted his girlfriend of 11 years in a hotel lobby, doesn't do much to convince anyone of Diddy's innocence. Agnifilo has also had to go into damage control, especially following the baby oil incident. When the FBI raided Diddy's home, they seized around 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants from his property. When a reporter asked Mark about it, he downplayed the 1,000 bottles and acted as if it was a normal thing to do.
How do you explain the baby oil and the lubricants? 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was a lot. I mean, there's a Costco right down the street. You know, I think Americans buy in bulk, as we know. And you know, this is consensual adults doing what consensual adults do.
Sure, Americans buy in bulk, but how many normal Americans buy 1,000 bottles of baby oil because they're getting a good deal from Costco? Diddy has single-handedly ruined baby oil for a lot of people because there are now thousands of baby oil memes on the internet. In fact, even people with kids claim that they're embarrassed to buy baby oil in public.
Oh, nice, the last one.
Apparently, Costco did not want to be dragged into this case and denied having anything to do with the lubrication of booty holes anywhere in America. A spokesperson said that the company does not sell baby oil in such quantities, and none of the company's US locations carry baby oil, leaving Mark in an awkward position.
So Costco actually responded to this and put out a statement. They said none of the company's US location carry baby oil.
The baby oil issue went viral, and it only added more controversy around Agnefilo's defense strategy, leading some to question whether he's overplaying the innocent billionaire narrative. When all of these strategies failed, Mark made the case that his client was a victim of racial bias, claiming that the federal government was targeting Diddy because of his success as a black entrepreneur. He took this argument public, even suggesting that the authorities don't like the way he's doing the nasty and are using this as a basis to build a case against him.
They start making this case as a takedown of a successful black man.
Excuse me? It isn't illegal to have relations. It's how he is doing it that's illegal. For their last-ditch attempt, Diddy's team recently filed a motion blaming federal agents for releasing information, including the Cassie video, to sway public opinion against Diddy. Mark Agnifilo argued that the leaks were meant to smear Diddy before trial, and he pushed for a hearing to investigate these alleged breaches of confidentiality. His filing demands that such materials be excluded from court, citing an intention to ensure a fair trial.
Well, the defense clearly wants it suppressed in some way, and so they're going to argue, or trying to argue, that it was leaked, that it's somehow improper, and probably should be thrown out of court.
It's not just the prosecutors who are clapping back on these accusations that the videos were leaked. Social media users are livid that the origin of the videos is even being questioned. Who cares who released it? It happened. Someone was victimized. That's all that should matter. Mark's strategy to cast his client as a target rather than tackling the accusations head on is not sitting well with anyone, and he's had it. He's usually a master of public narrative, often drawing media attention to build sympathy or skepticism around the prosecution's case, a strategy that's both helped and hindered him in past trials. Remember that Mark defended the NXIVM cult leader Keith Raniere back in 2018 to 2019. Then he would appear in news conferences, spoke on his behalf in documentaries, and sat beside him during a nearly 2-month trial in the US District Court in Brooklyn. In Keith's case, he had a master and relationship with females, including minors in the cult. In a sick move, he branded his initials on their pelvic areas. Victims have said they were not told of the extent of the branding, the pain, or what the branding would look like. In one press briefing in May 2018, Mark Agnifilo downplayed the fact that the women were branded by saying, "There are well-known groups of men that brand themselves. It's utterly uncontroversial, but a group of women decides to brand themselves and all of a sudden they're victims." Mark went as far as suggesting that one of the former cult members who had suffered repeated abuse might have actually found a benefit in joining the cult because she had previously struggled with thoughts of unaliving herself. Honestly, it seems like this man would downplay anything as long as he is getting paid. The problem is, he says all the wrong things and defends the worst kind of clients. After spending months trying to get the public to side with Keith Raniere, Mark and another attorney, Tenny Garogos, submitted their withdrawal as Raniere's attorneys by filing letters in February 2019. In June 2019, Keith was convicted and is currently serving a 120-year prison sentence. It's the same pattern with Diddy's case. The situation seems more intense by the day, with federal prosecutors hinting at digital evidence from raids, including emails and videos reportedly showing disturbing behaviors. That's why Diddy's legal team just got a major shakeup, with 2 new heavyweights joining his defense: Anthony Rico and Alexandra Shapiro. These additions might also be a hint as to why Mark Agnifilo could be eyeing the exit door.
The new lawyers that he has brought on, added to the team, one of them is, her specialty is dealing with appellate courts, Alexandra Shapiro.
Anthony Rico brings a reputation as a seasoned trial attorney with deep expertise in defending against serious criminal allegations. Alexandra Shapiro, on the other hand, is a powerhouse appellate attorney skilled in overturning lower court rulings. Her expertise is all about challenging trial outcomes and navigating the appeals process, which could be a strategic move for Diddy, given his repeated bail denials so far. The entrance of Rico and Shapiro, along with previous failures, has fueled rumors that Mark Agnifilo, despite his courtroom theatrics and experience, might be stepping aside. What do you think about Mark's strategy so far? And is stepping aside now the best decision? Let us know in the comments. Now let's get into the new updates in Diddy's case. First up, Diddy's defense team is asking the judge to grant them what's called a bill of particulars. This legal document would usually require prosecutors to spell out all the details of each charge, giving the defendant more clarity on how to prepare their defense. However, prosecutors are like, no, you're not getting that. We've given you enough information. They said that the 14-page indictment, previous bail hearings, and discovery disclosures already give Diddy plenty of information to know what he's facing in court. They believe the demand for extra details is a strategic attempt by Diddy's side to limit what prosecutors can introduce as evidence later. If the prosecutors create this bill, new upcoming charges cannot be used in court because Diddy's team can claim that it was not among the charges written on the bill. We all know that every day someone new reveals charges against Diddy, so this document is a bad idea. Prosecutors were explicit in their response, saying essentially that Diddy's already been well informed of the charges he's up against and will be notified of additional evidence before the trial. Diddy's team is also requesting the names of victims involved in the case.
Now his defense team is asking the federal judge to start revealing who his accusers are. They say that's the only way that they can prepare and have a fair trial.
Diddy's lawyers argued that the continued protection of the alleged victims would seriously hamper their practical ability to prepare for the trial. Prosecutors aren't exactly happy about this because publicly releasing victims' identities could put them at risk of being tampered with through bribes or threats. Let's face it, Diddy is a wealthy and powerful man, and having the names of every victim could completely change the game. It won't be the first time that victims change their minds about being witnesses. If they are threatened, it could also discourage others from coming forward.
We represent thousands of survivors of abuse, and never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward, where we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people.
Remember, Texas attorney Tony Busby has filed multiple civil suits against Diddy, representing numerous Jane and John Does, and has promised to bring over 100 lawsuits on behalf of alleged victims. It seems like the defense team will get what they want, because recently a New York judge ruled that a Jane Doe plaintiff who accused Sean Diddy Combs of SA will have to reveal her name if she wants her case to move forward, or it will be tossed out. This incident allegedly happened back in 2004 when the victim was 19 years old. She claimed that Diddy also gave her some substances and threatened to unalive her before violating her. The ruling could set an example for other accusers, showing that Diddy's defense will likely have more opportunities to confront their accusers directly. Although many people have criticized the judge, she said in her ruling that the anonymous woman has not successfully argued she'd face a significant risk of harm if publicly named. This is because she has had no contact with Sean Combs since the alleged incident 20 years ago, and because he is detained while he awaits federal trial on unrelated charges.
And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI.
Tony Busby is not backing down with this new ruling, and he recently confirmed that anonymous or not, this case will proceed, period. This means that we'll get to hear all about this mystery woman's experience in May 2025. Another bombshell in the government's filings is the sheer amount of digital evidence they've managed to gather. From over 60 of Diddy's own devices and cloud accounts, they've extracted text, recordings, photos, and documents, painting what they say is a detailed picture of Diddy's alleged activities. Some of this evidence includes conversations with victims and witnesses, possibly shedding light on claims that Diddy may have tampered with witnesses. These devices, along with bank records, hotel bookings, and search warrants, form the backbone of the government's case. With a trial set for May 2025, prosecutors are arguing that revealing details too early could destroy their case, and they're fighting to release information at their own pace. They have mentioned that Diddy's team will be notified of additional evidence 15 days before trial, but that's all they're willing to give. The government is walking a tightrope here and trying to find a balance between providing enough information to Diddy's team and protecting the safety and privacy of those who may take the stand against Diddy. And with a judge siding with them on keeping certain information sealed, it's clear they're playing this in a way that no one can guess what's coming next. This back and forth has already shown that both sides are digging in for a long legal battle. Diddy's legal team will probably continue pushing for every advantage they can get, while prosecutors will safeguard their evidence and witness list until they're ready to present it in court. But the question remains, is Diddy's defense right to demand the names of these witnesses, or are prosecutors just giving him a well-deserved cold shoulder? Drop your thoughts below because this case is only going to get hotter.